back at it again, and we got to talk about TYT. Are they secretly turning into Trump supporters? Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state.
Donald Trump's recent statements about abortion and his statement in shooting down efforts to create these laws that would have a nationwide ban on abortion has led to some headlines that the Biden camp is not too pleased about. So they're pressuring editors to basically change those headlines to framing that they favor. Now, how did they do this? Well, through a press conference call, where Biden camp Deputy Communications Director Brooke Gorin targeted a particular headline that was written by USA Today. Let's listen.
Trump kept his word to overturn Roe in his last term, and he will not rest until he has banned abortion across the entire country, period. We all know this, and the coverage needs to reflect it. Yet today, we're still reading headlines that say Trump, quote, declines to endorse a national abortion ban, that Trump, quote, rebuffed pressure to the campaign on a national limit, that Trump, quote, decided to punt the politically fraught issue to the states and not back a national abortion ban. One particularly egregiously false headline even said Trump, quote, opposes a national abortion ban and will leave it up to the, quote, the will of the people. Trump didn't decline anything. All he did was take credit again for the nightmare he created. That's the news that's important here. We cannot and we will not give Trump a free pass when every single day women's lives in this country are on the line because of what Trump did to take away our right to make our own healthcare decisions.
Oh, she listed some of the headlines that she took issue with, that the Biden camp took issue with. One of them, the one that was noted to be particularly egregious, was a USA Today headline. Here's what it originally read. The will of the people, Trump opposes national abortion ban, says states should decide.
And guys, remember, I've said this before in previous videos, because there were some, guys who are in the political sphere here on YouTube that had some negative things to say about Uncle Trump coming out with the stance like he like the stance that he has now. He's moderated quite a bit because I think he sees the writing on the wall. And the writing on the wall is we aren't there yet as a nation. And if he didn't moderate, he was guaranteeing himself that he was going to lose. We've already seen it on the ballot in Ohio, right? It was on the ballot last year. Last year, I think they took a vote on whether or not they wanted to allow abortion, and yes was the answer from the people, right from the people. So if you're going to try to force this, good luck. And I know the argument is we're saving kids' lives. Well, in reality, if you plant your flag on this issue, you're going to lose. So you're not really saving any kids' lives. You're actually putting even more at risk because you're giving Democrats a win. You're handing Democrats W's when they shouldn't have, when they otherwise shouldn't have those W's. And once Democrats win again, they're going to allow unfettered, right, abortion. I mean, just anybody and everybody, have it, take it. As a matter of fact, we're selling the pills at your local store. If you don't want it after 6 months, you can just pop a pill and come down to your local hospital and we'll help you out. The baby will just flop out of you and you're good to go. We'll stitch you up and you'll be right on your way. All right. I guarantee you, I can't guarantee, but that's probably what's going to happen if we allow Democrats to win again. So the strategy is you moderate, you say the truth, which he did. And that was, hey, it's up to the people. And it is up to us. It's a state's issue. Less government. Government shrinks. That's what people say they want, right? So, well, here it is. Not big brother government, your local government. The people decide. That's what he said. But they have a problem with that because they know that's the issue that they need in order to try to win. Democrats have nothing else. Nothing else except for this one thing. So I guarantee you, as we get closer, that's going to be a major topic of discussion. A major topic of discussion. They're going to keep bringing it up because they know it's a winning issue for them. And they know that Trump is moderating. And if he manages to really get his message across, which is the truth, and I think he's taking the strategy of what I said, basically, and that's moderate, let the people decide, okay? And over your 4 years, you re-educate the population on what this actually is and what it all entails. And then at some point in time, you represent the question back to the people. Is this something that you really want? And maybe at that time, maybe people say no. Actually, you know what? You're right. You have educated me on what this actually is, what all it entails. And no, I don't want this. This is actually really horrible. That's the way you win with this issue. Not by planting your flag.
Mm-hmm. Well, after the press conference call with the Biden camp, USA Today ended up changing the headline. So let's go to the new one. Donald Trump says states should decide abortion policy avoids talk of a national ban. Now, look, I like that I like the newer headline. Okay, I do. I think it's a better headline. However, that's not the question. The question of what I like and don't like doesn't matter. The focus of this discussion should be, should politicians pressure the press to edit the way that they frame the news or report the news? Mm-hmm. That's what I kind of take issue with here.
Yeah, well, look, I think, and I'm glad that you agree. I wasn't sure if you were going to. The second one is far more accurate.
Yeah, it's better.
Because he didn't oppose it in the first. Like now he's coming out more recently and saying he actually opposed it. That is not what he said in the original thing.
Correct, yes.
He declined to say a whole bunch of incredibly important stuff. So this is more accurate. I mean, she's the communications director. Arguably, this is, I guess, the sort of thing that they do. I don't love the idea of them calling up outlets.
Yeah.
It seems like, you do the messaging and you get the headlines that you get. But I don't know, everybody does this, not just politicians. Celebrities are constantly like getting the headlines they want and things. I don't like any of it because we don't do anything like that. But yeah, I'm not too shocked by it. That said, I wouldn't like it if Trump's team was doing it. So I guess to be consistent.
Yeah, I mean, look, I found Trump's treatment of the press when he was president and when he was campaigning in 2015, 2016 in particular, to be disgusting, right? I saw it as a form of intimidation. He would literally point out journalists during his rally and direct all sorts of like hatred toward them, jeers toward them. And I just,
hold on, wait. Hold on. So you mean to tell me that it is a bad thing that he called people out on their BS? We're talking about the same media that continually attacked him the entire time he was president. I watched it. And part of me enjoyed it at that point in time, right? I was still stuck in my smoke screen and I didn't really appreciate what was happening and what was in front of me. Now I definitely do, obviously. You live and you learn, right? You live and you learn, young and silly. That's all I can say about that one. But yeah, so it's okay for them to dish it out, but it's wrong for him to give it back. Really? Okay. Interesting.
If I found that to be, inappropriate behavior, I should feel the same way if politicians that I typically agree with do the same thing or apply pressure on journalists or editors to change the framing of their reporting, even if I agree with what they're saying. Like, again, I do agree that the newer headline is more accurate, it is better. And USA Today shouldn't have needed pressure from the Biden camp to write a better headline. That said, I don't like politicians in particular pressuring the press to change the way they do their jobs. Sure. Celebrities is one thing, but the federal government should not be involved in tailoring coverage of political events in the country.
Yeah, as a general principle, I do agree. What the different things you described can be held together as a consistent worldview. I think this is at the very far end of the spectrum. Like, pressure on an outlet can come in a lot of different forms. If it's that woman calling up and being like, your headline's garbage or whatever, and they change it, probably because they realize that it is kind of garbage, then that's one thing. If Biden all of a sudden like comes up and gives a speech about how, maybe we need to tighten some laws around USA Today or something, like that is much more like what Trump does. And I think that would be a totally different thing. There's no hint of
what?
Like, it's pressure in that they called. It's not pressure in that they're threatening to take away their licenses or something like that, which is the more akin to what we experienced under Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Wrong. And that's actually the next step. Right, that's actually the next step. We already saw that with this administration when they started the Ministry of Truth. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? And Kamala Harris was supposed to be like the head of the. No. It was the one chick. I don't remember her name, but she like made like some weird jingle online and crap. But yeah. They started the Ministry of Truth. The same people that told us that the laptop was fake. Those are the same folks that started up a Ministry of Truth. They told us the laptop was fake. It wasn't real. They told us that Uncle Trump was colluding with Russia. The Russia hoax. Y'all remember that? These are the same folks. And now they're calling up news outlets to get them to change their headlines. Take note of that. Take note. All right, we're gonna come back to that one.
No, absolutely. And look, Trump was definitely more extreme. I'll give you an example. Trump, the candidate, also blacklisted reporters and entire news outlets from campaign events. I find that gross. Referred to journalists as scum and slime and mocked a reporter for having a disability. Trump also threatened a lawsuit against a Hispanic journalist group for calling out his
lie. For example, the whole disability thing. He wasn't mocking the reporter for having a disability. He's done that 1,000,001 times. The reporter, I believe the reporter had like a speech impediment, and Trump was like, and he's done that to a lot of different folks. It wasn't just that reporter. So fake news. Once again, got to call you out in the BS. Anna, is it Anna or Anna? Anna Kasparian or Anna Kasparian? Anyway, either way, the lie detector determined that was a lie.
Bigoted remarks. So, punishing reporters and, revoking their ability to cover your events, cover your rallies, cover your campaign stops.
And actually, I believe there was a African reporter kicked out of, or he was almost never allowed to ask any questions. I actually follow him on X. Simon Atiba? This guy. If I remember correctly, there was a whole story about this gentleman who I believe is from Africa, not being allowed to ask Karine Jean-Pierre. Forgot her name for a second. How could I forget such a nice name? I really love her name. I think she's a terrible press secretary, but I love her name, right? Karine Jean-Pierre. It has a nice little ring to it. I gotta admit, nice name. Terrible at her job though. But yeah, y'all remember that story? Let me know in the comment section. But I do believe that he wasn't allowed to ask any questions. Like, he would always get skipped over. Nothing. So sure, he was in the room, but he wasn't allowed to ask anything. What about that, Anna? Whatever her name is.
As punishment, obviously goes much further than what I'm seeing from Biden. But look, to be honest with you guys, I hold Democrats to a higher standard, no? I just do. And so I don't think that it's right for Biden's camp to try to affect the framing and reporting of the election, of political events, and of his campaign.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. And look, people like to look down their noses at slippery slope arguments. I'm gonna make a slippery slope argument. This kind of stuff is a slippery slope. I had a problem with, after the fact, finding out that the New York Post reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop was not fraudulent, was not false, but it was totally censored from Twitter because the Biden camp claimed that it was Russian propaganda without any evidence to back that up. And I bought into that at the time. That was totally inappropriate, and I think that it ended up actually causing more harm than good. Let the reporting go out there, and you fight that speech, you fight that reporting with more speech, with counter reporting. You know, that's all.
Yeah, I agree far more with the general principle that you're advocating for, consistency, something that you believe in, that you will never ever be rewarded for. I do agree with that more than if there's a headline that is literally inaccurate. There's another way to put it is, do you not have an obligation as a campaign to make sure that the media is not being inaccurate? Their headlines?
No. You have an obligation to run this country. Simple and plain. Why are you worrying about headlines? Okay, and let's say you are worried about headlines, whatever. So then you address it yourself. You put out your own statement. You don't have... The government should not be calling the media to fix anything, to change anything. These are the same folks, and you just heard, which this is the crazy part to me. This is the crazy part. You've got Democrats who can admit, right? Like Anna Kasparian just admitted Joe Biden and Democrats lied straight to the American people's face. They said it was Russian propaganda. Russian propaganda. They knew it wasn't the entire time. You just heard Anna admit to that. And yet, she still has the stance on politics that she does. Like that's a cult to me. That's a cult. That's a cult. You know they lied. You admitted that they lied. It came out of your own mouth. They told you it was a lie and it was Russian propaganda, and so much so that they didn't allow you to freely speak about it on any social media platform. And if you did, you got banned. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? We all remember that. They silenced us. And yet you still want to elect these people. They became dictators right in your face. And yet you still support them. That's a cult to me. That's a cult. I can't explain it in any other way. That is a cult. They became dictators right in your face. And yet it's still Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. Yeah, they became dictators, but Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. What? Trump's been telling the truth the entire time. He told us it was real. He told us Joe Biden was the big guy. Y'all called him a lunatic and crazy, and called us right-wing extremists, and allowed Democrat politicians to say it was Russian propaganda and ban us from saying anything to counterbalance that on social media. Some people can't be found, man. Some people are just lost in the sauce. Lost in the sauce. Peace and love, family. I'm out.